what's up, you guys? Josh out here in Singapore, and thank you so much for joining me on the Night Owl podcast. As always, you guys, I appreciate you wherever you are, however you're trying to tune in and listen. I love all of the conversations, all of the feedback, good, bad, ugly. It doesn't matter. I welcome all of it because nothing grows if there isn't a call for change. So I am happy to change and adapt. I'm happy to teach you what I'm learning the hard way, obviously. And as I go through life and, encounter different ideas and different belief systems and all my knowledge is even questioned, I like actually sharing all that with you because chances are if it's happening to me, it's happened to you at some point as well. So that's basically where I'm coming from, and I'm hoping that this gives you some insight and maybe a chance to change to a perspective that helps you feel more comfortable and more aligned, more happy. So with that being said, I kind of want to talk to you about this concept of what you know, right? I know that the sun apparently is the center of the universe and we all revolve around it. Until the information is different or presented to me otherwise, I'm going to continue believing that. And then all of my ideas, my beliefs, my practices, my actions, my choices kind of revolve around the information that I think I know. Now, there is a concept that I've encountered recently, and I've encountered it a couple times actually, many phases in my life where I think I know something and somebody comes to question what I know and makes me feel like what I know is not true, or what I know is faulty or missing information. And usually if they approach me with the kind of the attitude that they're trying to help me get better, that they're trying to add to my knowledge, I am open to changing. I'm open to the accepting of a new idea. But usually the way that people come to challenge my own knowledge is by telling me that I'm stupid, or telling me that I am full of shit, or that I am doing something on purpose that I'm not, or they're accusing me of some kind of underhanded notion, or being deceptive somehow. I have fought very hard to become as simple as possible, because the more complications, the more lies I have to keep up, the more shit that I have to deal with, and the more chaos I invite into my own life. So I've done the best I can to simplify my life to the bare minimum. I don't want to lie to anybody. I don't want to pretend with anyone. I just want to be myself. So when that happens, when I am confronted with a person who, because of their own past hurts, because of their own experiences, is confident that I am up to no good, they are deciding for me that I am here to deceive and trick and what is the word I'm looking for? Manipulate them somehow. I tend to wonder, because I'm an introvert, because I'm an empath, because I naturally want to help and solve, I have a tendency to go deep within and try to find out if I really am underhanded, if there's something, any notion inside of me that was trying to deceive them or control the situation or manipulate to my own gains. But when that happens, I tend to wonder if I know anything at all, if I am actually as honest as I think I am, as nice or as kind or as unconditional as I think I am. Suddenly I'm questioning everything that I know. So for me, sometimes, depending on the way they approach me, obviously, when someone comes to me and says, hey, you know what, I don't like that you did this, you look like you're up to no good, you're trying to control me, you're trying to do this, trying to do that, I know that they're speaking out of a filter of trauma, and we'll get into that in another episode. But I also wonder, I stop and I check myself. I really do check myself, and then the overthinking becomes, okay, I don't think I did this, but was there any part of that maybe I was trying really hard to get a specific reaction out of them, or was I trying to not give them the full story because I didn't want them to be upset with me? Was I trying to avoid trauma somehow, and so I wasn't being completely 100% myself? I wasn't being truthful at some point. So I tend to overthink and try to go back into, what is it that I was trying to accomplish with that action, that choice, or whatever. But that also means that the next time you question me, I'm going to seem less confident. I'm going to seem less capable. It's almost like I could be the most educated person in the world, and in front of certain people, I'm a bumbling idiot, because I am afraid that what I know is not what you know. And I am afraid that how I do things is not the way you would do things. And now I am afraid that whatever I do may cause you harm. And so I am not sure of anything. And I don't know if you've been through that kind of a reaction before, but it's happened to me in several occasions with specific types of people. Now, these people, I'm not saying are perfect by any means, but I'm not saying they're deranged or anything either. I'm saying that these people are hurt in some way or another. They are fighting for a semblance of control and understanding in the world, just like I am. And for some reason, the way they're used to dealing with people is not how they're used to receiving people like me. So when I kind of appear and I am forthright and honest and simple and just really not looking for anything except to make you smile somehow, they tend to wonder, why do you want me to smile so badly? Why is it you're so invested in making sure that I'm okay, or that I'm happy, or that I'm taken care of? What is it that you want? And I get that there are certain people, for me as well, where I'm wondering, okay, well, what is it you really want? But for the most part, when I encounter people who are questioning what I know, I tend to go into a spiral of questioning what I know and suddenly wondering if I know anything at all, if I am sure of anything at all, if I am what I say I am, or if I am projecting this idea of who I want to be instead of actually being that person. So I get very nervous. I get into a very anxious position, and I get to a place where I start to overthink everything, and then all of my actions reflect this unconventional, not a confident person, this childlike entity that is fighting for acceptance, fighting for someone to believe in me, for someone to encourage me to be who I think I am, rather than just stepping into and showing up as that person that I know myself to be. So that phenomenon is something that I'm still working through, because for a long time I had been without that presence where someone really questioned everything that I was doing, or made me feel like I didn't know as much as I did. And at the moment, I'm working through some of that. It's an old wound that is now reopened, and I'm trying really hard to figure out how to make sure that I show up while being humble, while still checking myself, because I don't want to come over as arrogant and knowing everything, and I don't want to make the other person feel like they don't know either, because they're responding to me out of their own experience, their knowledge base, based on things that they've lived through, that they've seen in their past. And so rather than question them, I am questioning myself. I am going through this process of trying to understand, well, okay, what do I know for sure? I know that when there is no instigation anywhere, there is no one that kind of puts doubt into my mind, I'm pretty confident I can pretty much manage most anything. I can fix things, I can restore things, I can cook things, I can make things. I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm not the best. I've got a ways to go. I have plenty to learn, definitely. And I'm, like I said, open to learning and increasing my skill set. But for the most part, I do get nervous. I do turn into this, wounded child, and suddenly I don't know anything, and nothing I do is right. It's like quicksand almost. You make that one mistake and they pounce on you for the one mistake, and suddenly everything you do in succession is a mistake and is something that you would know better, but you panicked and you thought you'd make a decision for yourself, and suddenly it's all turning out wrong. So that quicksand is a terrifying place to be, because in some instances, the person that stands before you is actually manipulating you, because they need you to depend on them. They want you to feel like they are the expert, they are the elder, the respected person that you go to for everything. They want to be needed. And sometimes breaking people down so that they need you is one form of manipulation or control. Now, I'm not saying they're doing that knowingly, but I do see how that's possible. And I do know that in front of such people, I tend to get flustered. I tend to lose all sight of everything that I've known, everything that I've done before, everything that I was very accomplished in, I suddenly am not. I know how to make chicken curry. I've done it a million thousand times. Okay, that's silly. That's a silly number. I've done it thousands and thousands of times without any problems, and that's one of the few curries that I can make over and over again and pretty much get the same result every time. But in front of certain people, I suddenly find that I can't do it, and it doesn't turn out the way that I want it to, or it ends up bitter, or it ends up super salty, or I don't know. I kind of like fudge the components, and suddenly I'm not able to do the thing that I know that I can do with my eyes closed. And I know that if it happens to me, I know it happens to you in some places too. So my question to you is, what do you do? How do you manage that? How do you get to a place where you find your confidence and maintain your confidence even in the presence of those people? Because that is what true healing is. It's not that you avoid the people that make you nervous. It is being in front of people that made you nervous or make you nervous currently, and still finding a way to tune into your confidence and maintain it, even though they question you, they shake you, they question your faith, they question your integrity, they question your knowledge base. What do you know? What do you not know? Whatever. And to be able to stay unshaken in the face of that is true healing. That is something that I'm still working on. That is something that I know, that I'm recognizing that, hey, there's a certain type of person that intimidates me. And when I get in front of that person, usually it's someone that I really care about, because if I didn't care, I wouldn't be worried, right, about them approving of me or liking me in any degree. So when that happens, I try really hard to find something that I'm confident and sure of, something that I can kind of, get my balance back with. A lot of times what ends up happening is they will question something and I will fall all over myself trying to explain myself or trying to apologize for a mistake I made. And then suddenly the next thing I do is another mistake, another mistake. And so the best thing I can do at that time, this is like maybe a year or two ago, is to avoid that person for a while until I get my confidence back. But sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes it's someone that you live with. Sometimes it's a parent. Sometimes it's a teacher that you have to see every day. And in order to find a way to manage rather than avoid that person, because if it's a teacher, you're going to need them to grade your papers. You're going to need them to explain if you did something wrong so you can make up for it and kind of get the grade back or whatever. If it's a parent, you can be with them the rest of your life, or at least the rest of their lives, right? So how do you manage that? How do you work through those things? And so for me, what I'm learning is I have to find a way not to be arrogant, not to be rude, but to let them know, hey, you know what? I know what I'm doing. This is something I am confident in. Give me a second. Let me see if I can, rectify it or get it back together or whatever. And it's a communication thing. But it is terrifying, so terrifying, because what if they flip out because you spoke back to them? What if they, take it as you're telling them that they're wrong? Because we are two different people, two different perspectives, two different sets of beliefs on how the world works. And if I say that I'm right, chances are you will take that as, oh no, what does that mean then? You're telling me that I'm wrong, that I'm lying, that I'm full of shit. So these are those difficult conversations that scare me still sometimes, but I'm finding my way around them. And knowing that I've accumulated so much knowledge and so much confidence the hard way, because I had to build myself back. Every time I fell, I had to build myself back. It's a matter of still being confident, but being open to the fact that there might be a piece of information you've never had before that might be useful to you, and finding a way to receive that without being affected by the way they present that information to you, or the way they correct you or reprimand you. So difficult thing. I'm still working it out. Once I have like a pretty good idea of how to teach this concept, once I conquer it a little bit, I will definitely teach this. Definitely something that I think would be very useful for all of you. But in the meantime, you guys, I'd love to know if you have been through a situation like this and how you've handled it so far. Most of us run and hide. Most of us avoid like the plague, but that doesn't actually fix the problem. Because when you stand before that person again, or a person like them again, that lesson will represent itself. So I'm curious. Please let me know what you think and what you do for yourself. And meanwhile, I'm just going to keep at it, y'all. So I'll catch you again soon. Bye.